Hello subscribers! I'm going solo today to showcase these two coffees that we're sending to you this month. And it's from my little dear child, Kieni, the cooperative in Kenya that I've been visiting for the past, I think it's 14 years now. Very treasured Kenyan coffee, and then gonna take you to Peru to try the Monte Grande, the big mountain. So let's start with the Kieni. Kieni is a cooperative factory in the heart of the Nyeri region in central Kenya, where about 1,000 smallholder farmers grow and pick their own coffee cherries, mostly SL28 varieties, also a bit of SL34, Roro 11 and Bachian. The last two are two newer hybrids. But because there's a large percentage of the SL28, you're getting this classic Kenyan blackcurrant flavor that is so sought after. It's something that a lot of roasters feel that we're kind of missing these days with a lot of these new varieties taking over. But here, a lot of the farmers are still growing the SLs, and you get this wonderful blackcurrant, blackberry, kind of juicy, rich, sweet kind of coffee. What I like about the Kieni is it has heaps of body as well. Keeps the sweetness to balance out the acidity so it doesn't become one-dimensional. This is a factory we've been working with for 14 years now, and we've been buying directly from them, even though they change out marketing agents and so on. It's a coffee factory or a washing station or wet mill that is very dear to our hearts. Because of the direct relationship, they've also been one of the highest paying cooperatives in all of Kenya for many years. This really makes us proud. Not only are we paying high prices, but we're also grown the amount of volume we're buying from them year in, year out. And when we, the first time visited them, bought 20 bags at a high price, they were happy. Now we're buying 340 bags at an even higher price, making them hopefully even happier. And at least we can support and make a direct impact on their livelihoods. This is a coffee that a lot of people know for filter, but it's actually always on our espresso menu as well. And for the coffee we're sending you this time, Kasper has done a special, even lighter roast than usual. So for filter brews, you can really expect the acidity to hammer through. For the espresso profile, he's actually tried to balance and get a nice creamy texture out of it. I'm gonna brew this as espresso in just a minute. But first, we're just gonna talk about Monte Grande. So I haven't been here, I've never been to Peru. Peru is a relatively, for us, new relationship. It's a third year going into buying from Peru now. Monte Grande is a small association of producers. I think around 30 different producers depending on the year. Now, each of these producers are growing organically. They're growing a bunch of different local varieties in a region that has been growing cacao for over 5,000 years. The Monte Grande that we're sending you is a washed coffee. They do a relatively dry depulping and a dry fermentation in open trays. That means that there is of course a little bit of humidity in water, but it's a relatively dry climate where the coffee is then fermenting. You're getting this wonderful kind of fruit tones, but also this kind of chocolatey, nice, sweet, full-bodied kind of coffee. So for filter, expect that. Expect a relatively clean, but also a little more vibrant kind of coffee from these producers in Peru. And now I'm gonna brew them as espresso. And I've been fortunate enough to be able to brew them out here at Godhusvej in our coffee shop. So for these two coffees, brewing as espresso, I'd actually recommend slightly different kind of brew profiles. I'm gonna do single dose grinding in here on our EK43. I'm gonna do 19.0 grams of coffee measured before grinding. I'm gonna grind relatively fine and of course dialing it in to approximately 25 to 27 second extraction time. The recipe that I'm gonna do differently between the two is the output. So for the Monte Grande, I'm gonna go with a completely classic 1:2 ratio. 19 grams in, 38 grams out in approximately 25 to 27 seconds. For the Kieni, I wanna go slightly longer, 19 grams in, but 42 grams out. And I think you can even try pushing it to 45 grams out if you feel like you want a slightly weaker, less TDS, less strength in the cup, but allowing for maybe more of the aromas to come out. The reason I'm going slightly shorter with the Monte Grande is to really accentuate that chocolatey, heavy mouthfeel, the coating body. But for the Kieni, I kind of just want a little bit more of the aroma, a little more of the acidity out. I can balance that out and make it shine a little bit more by using a higher ratio, so more water basically through the same amount of coffee. I hope that makes sense. We have an espresso guide video on our YouTube channel in case you want to dive further into this. But now let's taste. Always give your espresso a good swirl before drinking. Monte Grande, really kind of like deep chocolatey notes. It reminds me of like 65% kind of chocolate where You're not full on to the super dark chocolate, but it's definitely like that cacao finish to it as well. Also getting some plums, some nice like fruity tones, and just a really nice coating, oily mouthfeel. In the aftertaste, the plums turns more into prunes. You're getting like a little bit of like a vanilla-y kind of note. Reminds me of like a pie or something with pears. Nicely baked, brown sweetness to it as well. Then we're gonna taste the Kieni espresso. Wow, yeah, that is really the fruit bomb. That's so many berries. It's like the Danish rødgrød, the mix of strawberries, raspberry, blueberry, black currants, red currants. Everything's in the mix here, especially when you have them next to each other. Expect high acidity, but actually a nice mouthfeel still. It finishes kind of creamy, lots of sweetness as well. I hope you'll enjoy these two coffees as much as I have. We'd love to hear back from you. Also, you brewing it as filters. Did you have any preferences? Any way you brewed these slightly differently? Anything you want to let us know, hit us up in the comments below. Thank you for watching.